Howdy peeps on a cold, grey and generally miserable winter's morning in early January, and welcome back to the build series on the Eduard Mark 8 Spitfire. Now, where do we get to last time? I'm trying to remember. I think I just had a look at the plane, so I kind of know. We got the main fuselage together, the wings on. We were just dealing with some gaps and some filling that needed doing. Now, I will add, it's not a fault of the kit. It is a lovely kit. I've built one before. They go together beautifully. What I actually did, believe it or not, I'll leave it up to you, was I popped a seam so I could show how to fix that. I botched it together so there were some gaps. As a kit, it will go together gap free and beautifully if you take your time and you're careful with it, but I wanted to show how to fix some of the issues that do occur. So where do we get to again? Where we had popped the top fuselage seam there, we had filled that with a piece of sheet styrene. There was a slight gap along the tail which was filled with the Vallejo putty. Similar, we had sheet styrene and Vallejo putty in the slight gap down the back there. I also added a couple of drops of sprue goo onto the tiny little gaps on the front of the wings. And there's also a slight step here in the wing root that's going to need sorting. Now, all I've done with these other seams is just sand them down, get them as smooth as possible. We'll find out when we prime it if we need to do any more work on them. Now, I just spotted another slight gap just in the front of that seam line there. So we'll dig out some filler from somewhere. I think I'll put it all away because it was probably quite a while ago. Yeah, it's the 9th of January now, and the last time I did anything on this was Boxing Day, so yes. Again, just a little squidge of Vallejo fillet, make sure it's coming out properly. Well, coming out. And check we're in shot. And just little blobs into that seam there, just to fill those little gaps. There's nothing spectacular there, that's easy to fix. Then from somewhere else on the bench, digging out the little clay shaper again, just to take off the excess putty. And once that's dry, we can then sand it back down. Shouldn't need too much sanding. Now for the, you might not even be able to see them at that range, I'll point them out. There's one there, one there. Just little blobs of sprue goo. So we'll now sand those back. Using a relatively rough sander to get rid of the majority of what needs to be sanded off. Get in there. That's got that one. And because we're on a rounded surface, obviously we need to run the sander around the curve. Just checking I'm still in shot. I am. Almost. That'll do. And then grabbing a finer grade sander just for a final tidy up and to make sure we don't leave any scratches in the plastic. That's that side done. And this is probably hard to see what I'm doing because my hand will be moving about and shaking. But it's just sanding it back until it's all flush and smooth and nice. Now this step along here, let's put this light on, might illuminate things a bit better. I'll turn it this way. Where the fuselage and wing join, we've got a slight step, not all the way along. You can hear it. It gets worse to the front. Now you can sand that with the sander. But what I prefer to use for something like this, I tend to try and get my file in there if I can and use that, because it's easier to just take material off of the high side because it's firm, it's hard, it's not going to flex. And we have, in theory, better control over it. I'm trying to grab it anywhere. I'm not going to break anything. And what I'll do is I'll work at this until the seam, or the lip disappears or is virtually gone. Then I'll come in with the sanders to even it all up. Get rid of any scratches etc. left by the file. As you can hear, getting back to here, there's not a lot at all to remove. I think my file's a bit full of crud at the moment and needs to clear out. I know this seems drastic, but it's a precise way of removing a good amount of plastic in a fairly short period of time. Just try not to leave a ridge along where the edge of where you've been running the file is. Run the sander down there. And as you can see, we're very nearly there. Just a little more work, but I'll leave that and do that off camera, because it's probably fairly dull and tedious watching me put together a plane anyway, let alone sit here sanding for half an hour. So we'll carry on the construction, which is with the tail plane, for which we need sprue F. Move the model across out of the way. Need F12. This is where we can see it. As I said last time, there are multiple variants on the same sprue because we've got two complete tail sections. F13. And 52 and 53, wherever they are. There we go. Remembering which is which of these, because they're the we'll put 52 there and 53 there. Just in numerical order, it's easy to remember which is which. Clean up any leftover sprue gates. Gone. No seam lines around the back edges or anywhere that's visible, so that's okay. We do have a slight seam line along here which may affect fit slightly, so we'll get rid of that. Well, get rid of most of it. And then we pop this on. Ooh, which side up is up? That looks like that side is up. And we do have some locating pins and points, so that's okay. Should just almost snap in. There we are. Just the extra thin down the joint. So I hope everyone had a... Actually, if I say hope everyone had a happy new year, by the time I get round to putting this up it may well be like February or March even, so happy Valentine's or Easter is probably more appropriate. That's just one of those things. Right, so they go in before that. Okay. 52 on the right hand side. Well, right hand side as I'm looking at it. I can never remember which way round things are supposed to be referred to on an aeroplane. Port, starboard, all that stuff. I'm a dumbass tanker. I'll go left and right. Right, press that one in. And the second one, get it the right way around. Ooh, blowing things. Right. At least we can get one end of it in. It should fit then. Make sure that one's pushed over as far as it will go. There we are, I knew it would go in there. And then the rudder, which again, good positive locating points. And on. Yes. What to waffle about today? I don't know. What can we waffle about for a little bit? Conspiracy theorists. Now, I'm not saying that all conspiracy theories are wrong. We all know that governments and the people who actually run the planet don't necessarily do it with us mere mortals in mind. Some of them, it just seems so... Some of the conspiracy theories just seem so dumb to me, it's unreal. And otherwise intelligent people believing in, well, flat earth for one. All you have to do to disprove the flat earth theory is go to the seaside and watch a ship disappear over the horizon. Now, it doesn't just disappear because it gets too small. If you watch it through binoculars, you actually see the bottom of the hull of the ship disappear before the top parts, which tells you it's going over a hill. It's disappearing over a curve. And as for chemtrails, well, obviously people who aren't familiar with how humidity works. I mean, have you ever watched a Formula 1 race in damp conditions where you get the vortexes coming back off the rear wings? That's not chemtrails. that's all chemtrails are. What they call chemtrails is just condensation. Basically, it's the tips of the wings causing the vortexes, which turn it into clouds. But hey ho. Right, now we need to check with the instructions which marking it is we're doing. We're doing A, so good. F10 and F11, which is the full wingtips, which is those two. Yeah, it's just, the mind boggles by what some people. I mean, yeah, maybe, you know, we know there are certain things that are hidden from us by those in power, but no. If the earth was flat, people would have got to the edge and gone, oh, there's nothing there. And it would have been reported over the centuries, you know. It's not one of these things they can shut everyone up, whoever goes there. You know. Anyone who's ever been in an aeroplane at a decent altitude can see the curvature of the earth underneath them. That's the wrong side, definitely. I don't know. Perhaps I should just stick to sticking bits of plastic together and waffling randomly rather than trying to get involved in the failings of the world. Yeah, it's probably safer if I just stay out of politics and stuff full stop. Ain't nobody gonna vote me into power anytime soon, so it doesn't really make any difference. Yeah, it's in a similar vein to Right to Life as bombing abortion clinics. I never saw the point of that one either. It's kind of the antithesis of what they're complaining about, I suppose. But this is getting a bit deep and a bit dark for a silly little YouTube video about sticking models together, so I'll try and change to a happier subject, shall we say. Trying to think of one. It's just something that's been bugging me of late, is those conspiracy theories. I've been building and building, and more people are believing them. Not my cup of tea. I'm a scientist at heart and through. So I'm fully aware of the irony. I'm going to go with the likes of Newton and Einstein over some dude on the interwebs. You know? Anyway, back to modelling. Let's see. It's starting to look like a little spitty now, so we're getting there. As you can see, as a model this thing does go together beautifully. There's nothing to complain about. If you want to build one, go for it. You know, take your time when you're putting the major components together, and they fit without any issues. I say it was just me messing up on purpose, he says. Probably not that anyone's actually going to believe me, but you know. Well, that one is a little loose. So we'll hold it in place while we pop the glue in. So, what you guys who are watching, guys and girls, because I know there are actually a couple of ladies, or at least one, maybe two, who watch me rambling and waffling. What are you building and painting at the moment? Yeah. Are you building tanks, armour, planes, sci-fi figures, cars, bikes, dinosaurs, farm animals? Yeah. So it's all different strokes for different folks. Some can't understand the urge to build war machines, and I get that. I mean, it's a machine designed to kill people. That's its sole intent. Yeah. At least some of the planes after the war would have had like racing, especially World War I, World War II would have been used in racing. Now for sport, tanks especially, they're just designed to kill people and blow stuff up. But as I say, some of us are interested in that kind of history, others not so much. And no, if everyone liked the same thing, we'd all be stuck with half a dozen model kits of the same subjects. Well, actually, cause there'd probably be Tiger tanks, so it'd be about 30,000. Yeah, I'm sure there are more model kits available of Tiger tanks now than there were actual Tiger tanks. Bar steward stick. To be fair to the German armour, it's not very often the loser gets remembered quite so well. It's I think I'm going to have to leave that to set up for a little bit before we try and stick that on underneath. And what's next? It's the, I'm guessing, radiators under the wings. Yeah. And a random little bobbly bit on the end of the nose cone. Right, so we need sprue G. Ooh, G. Which is this one. So 1, 7, 8, 27, 29. So yes, it's I suppose the other one is, what am I going to be up to soon? Well, I've got a couple of group / buddy builds coming up in the near future, for which I will be entering, and well, there's actually 3, one of which runs for a couple of months, one of which runs for a month, or is it 3 months? I think the first one's 3 months, second one's a month, and the third one's all year, so there's no rush on that one. But they are the twin brick build for the British Aviation in Scale Super Ted's page group. Sorry. There is the ISM MiG-21 buddy build, and again I'm fairly certain I'll probably have done all these by the time I get this video up, for which I think we're all building the MiG-21 from Eduard for that one, and the Scale Modelers Critique Group's big ass group build, where it's just build something in a big scale. So for those 3 I will be building, for the twin brick, the little 172 Tamiya Mozzie, the Eduard MiG-21 Profi Pack, and then the Tacom, what was it, Kraz 260 tank transporter with trailer, and I'm still undecided. I might do the T55 that comes with it on the back, or I might put a different tank on the back. We shall see. As you can probably guess, I've got quite a few Russian armour kits to choose from, and maybe going for a Mini Art T54 instead on the back might work out well. It's a more complex build, but whether I want a more complex build after I've done a tractor and trailer unit, I'm not entirely sure. Right, which way around? So that goes that way. Yeah, that looks about right to me. Yeah, so that's what I've got coming up in the not too distant future. So I think one starts in the middle of January, one's, let's say, in February, and the other one is all year long. And other than that, I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to be building in the near future. There'll probably be a T90 there somewhere, because, you know, T90. But yeah, it's kind of nice, you know, to have a year where, or have a period where there's not group build after group build, and you can pick and choose what you want to build for everything. So it's no pressure, no stress, just stick stuff together and have fun. And speaking of which, I'll just finish popping this together and repeating the process for the other side off camera. Yeah, speaking of which, so I shall say, enjoy your modelling. I hope you have a good year. Get plenty built, plenty of time in the cave, or at the bench if you don't have a cave, or on your lap, or wherever you happen to build. Doesn't matter. And productive and enjoyable. So there we go. That's that one popped together. So there we are. So have fun, enjoy your modelling. Catch you next time. Peace out, rock on, and buzzy bye.